Fly Melbourne. I'm one of the instructors here and my name is Clement. Today we're going to talk about precautionary search and landing. Should a semi-urgent situation arise that is not life-threatening immediately, a precautionary search and landing can be conducted to search and assess for a field that is suitable for landing. During the procedure, when the field being assessed is not suitable for landing, conduct this procedure again until a suitable field is found. There are several reasons for conducting precautionary search and landing. Firstly is the duration of daylight. More specifically, it's the end of daylight. For example, if you're flying to a destination, however, due to unforeseeably strong headwind, it will be very likely to be arriving after dark. Given you have not received any training or certification to fly during the night, conducting a precautionary search and landing during the daylight hour will be a safer option. Secondly, when the weather deteriorates rapidly, continuing with a journey or diverting to another airport may require flying through dangerous weather. Thirdly, insufficient fuel to the destination. This is most likely caused by poor planning. Moreover, if the engine has a mild malfunction during flight, but not a complete engine failure yet, it may not be urgent enough to conduct a forced landing straight away, so we may have more time to look for a safer field for a safer landing. Lastly, when landing on an unfamiliar airstrip, conducting a precautionary search and landing allows a pilot to assess the suitability of the field to ensure the safe operation of the flight. When conducting a precautionary search and landing, the first step of the procedure is to reset the power setting to 18 inches of manifold pressure, 2,200 RPM, and extend the flaps to the takeoff position. Secondly, make a radio call. Pan pan, pan pan, pan pan, Diamond DA40, Alpha Bravo Charlie, Alpha Bravo Charlie, Alpha Bravo Charlie. At the eastern side of the Melbourne training area, 2 persons on board, conducting a precautionary search and landing due to stress of weather. Passenger brief. Inform your passenger that they're not going to the original destination anymore, but will be landing somewhere in the vicinity due to the stress of weather. Let them know to fasten their seatbelt, calm them down, and to stow all the sharp items in the baggage compartment. Afterwards, start to look for a field. The criteria for field selection is wind, size, shape, slope, surface, surrounding, civilization. Wind. Try to land into wind as much as possible. Size. The bigger the field, the better chance for a safer landing. Shape. Ideally, a rectangular runway looking field. Slope. Ideally flat or slight uphill. Surface. Flat surface would be ideal. If landing on a grass field, choose a lighter color field as it normally indicates less moisture in the soil, which means harder surface. Surroundings. Avoid tall trees and power lines. Civilization. Ideally land close to the towns, so it would be easier to request for help after landing if needed. After a suitable field is found, start to fly towards the area. Depending on the wind direction and the terrain, determine the circuit direction. If time and condition permits, try to conduct 3 circuits over the field prior to landing. If the deteriorating weather limits the aircraft to fly not about 500 feet, then a circuit will have to be done at 500 feet. During the first pass on final, we have to inspect the overshoot area, undershoot area, and the field itself for any obstacles. Because the aircraft is flying at a higher altitude, the obstacles we'll be looking for will generally be larger in size, such as trees, power lines, houses, or boulders. We also measure and calculate the length of the field to ensure it is sufficient for the aircraft to land. We calculate the distance of the field by measuring the time it takes to fly past the field. The equation for calculating the length is the current ground speed divided by 2 multiplied by the seconds. Afterwards, continue to fly the circuit. When on downwind, conduct the pre-landing checks. During the second pass on final, extend the last stage of flaps. Descend to 250 feet and conduct the final checks. At this point, because of the aircraft is flying at a lower altitude, the obstacles to look for will be smaller. For example, we can look for the fences in the middle of the field, or rocks, or even moisture or standing water on the surface of the field that we may have to avoid during landing. When getting close to the other end of the field, climb back up to 500 feet and continue with the low level circuit. On the third pass on final, this time we'll descend to 50 feet above the field and look for even smaller obstacles and to assess if the touchdown point is smooth and rigid enough for touchdown. When the other end approaches the other end of the field, start to go around and regain circuit altitude. After getting back to 500 feet, the pilot in command will have to make a decision to proceed with the landing on this field or to continue the search for another potentially better field. On downwind, again, conduct the pre-landing checks, and on final, conduct the final checks. Also, if the short field technique is adopted, the approach airspeed will be 65 knots and attitude will be 2 fingers. If the aircraft is unstable during the approach, please go around. At any point during the precautionary search and landing procedure, if the field has been deemed not suitable for a safe landing, please feel free to leave the circuit at any time and search for another better field for a safer landing.
If the weather is really bad to a point where we need to conduct a precautionary search and landing, the first thing to do is to adjust the power setting. To the precautionary power setting, it is 18 inches of manifold pressure and 2200 RPM. Speed check, flaps down 1 stage. The next thing to do is the pan call if we're actually doing a PSL. Then you would say pan 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 pan, Melbourne Centre, Diamond, Mike, November, November. Conducting a precautionary search due to stress of weather. The current location is at around Torrington Airfield, where 3 POB will contact after a field has been selected. After that, we'll be conducting a passenger brief to let them know what is happening. I would say, dear passenger, because of the stress of weather, we cannot proceed to Melbourne or going to where we're supposed to go. We'll be conducting a precautionary search around this area. Currently, I'll be looking at the field of Torrington. Please fasten your seatbelt and brace yourself. I'll brief you later when the field has been selected. We have to keep them updated so they can expect what will happen. You can see the field is to our left, and the grass strip, which is where we simulate to conduct this exercise and simulate we'll be landing, is right next to the paved runway. At this stage, at 500 feet on the first pass, we'll be looking for any big obstacles at the field, at the overshoot area, and at the undershoot area, which is closest to where we land. I can see the overshoot area is quite rough and uneven, and the undershoot area has a tree line and a bit of water running through it. So when we're approaching the field, we have to watch out for the tree line. Don't forget to add a tiny bit of power during the turn because of the decreased airspeed. On downwind, we have to do the pre-landing checks. Brakes off, oil T&Ps, undercarriage, mixture, master, max, fuel pump, fullest tank. Autopilot disconnect, hatches, harness, lights on. And we'll add a bit of power during the turn. Maintain 500 feet on the first pass. And I'll start to do my base call. Torrington traffic, Diamond Mike, November, November. We'll conduct a low-level pass at 500 feet on runway 22. Will remain in circuit, Torrington traffic. Normally, the pilot sits on the left-hand side. If we position the aircraft slightly to the right of the field when we're doing the field inspection, it will be an optimal position to observe the field properly. Keep maintaining 500 feet on the first pass, and we'll be looking for larger obstacles, such as boulders, ditches, and the general runway conditions. Also, we'll time the field. Once we get to the start of the field, we'll start the timer. So about here, we'll start the timer and also assess the general condition of the field. If you start to look to the left, you can see the surface condition of the field. About here is the end of the field, so it's around 20 seconds. We were flying around 55 to 60 knot ground speed. The half of 60 knot is 30, 30 times 20 is 600 meters. So the field is roughly 600 meters, which is sufficient for the aircraft to land safely. After knowing the field is big enough and seems suitable for landing, we'll go for a second pass. But we'll delay the crosswind turn a little bit so we'll have enough room and time on downwind to assess the field. Don't forget to add a time to the power during the turn, about 1 to 2 inches of manifold pressure at 20 degrees angle of bank. Right, center, left.
Shorted traffic, Diamond Mike, November is turning onto downwind of runway 22, conducting a low level circuit at 500 feet. Shorted traffic.
On downwind, conduct the pre-landing checks again. Brakes off, oil TCPs in the green, undercarriage mixture, master and max on both, fuel pumps on the fullest tank, autopilot disconnect, hatches, harnesses, lights on. On this pass, we'll be descending to 250 feet. Look for smaller features such as fences, sheep, cows, livestock, or in general, anything that we couldn't see from 500 feet. And now we'll give it a go to see if we can see anything. We're not going to descend on base, but only on final to go down to 250 feet.
Shorted traffic, Diamond Mike, November is turning base of runway 22 for a low level pass at 250 feet. Shorted traffic.
Start to turn onto final. And start to descend on final. Last stage of flap. Speed check, flap down. Descend to 250 feet. Final checks. Pitch, undercarriage, fuel pump, full flaps. We will emphasize on assessing the surface of the field on this particular pass to see is it flat enough. Any livestock or boulders to avoid. The dampness of the field and the length of the grass. If there are obstacles in the overshoot area, we'll select a go-around point on the field to initiate the go-around. But there aren't any at the moment, so we can proceed as normal. As we're passing the end of the field, we can initiate the go-around. Full power, race nose. Get back to 500 feet, and retract flaps in stages. Level at 500 feet, and set the original PSL power setting. And start the turn on the crosswind. The next pass will be the 50 feet pass. We'll descend to 50 feet. We'll be looking for very fine objects on the runway that may affect the safety of the flight, such as smaller ditches, uneven ground, or fences that we couldn't see earlier.
Shorted traffic, Diamond Mike, November, turning on to downwind runway 22, conducting a 500 feet circuit. Shorted traffic.
On downwind, conduct the downwind checks again. Brakes off, oil T&Ps, undercarriage, mixture, master max, fuel pump on, fuel select fullest tank, autopilot disconnect, hatches, harnesses, lights on. Start the turn onto base, and maintain altitude on base.
Shorted traffic, Diamond Mike, November is turning base for runway 22 for a 50 feet pass, low level. Shorted traffic.
The field is right there, so we'll continue with the turn. Flaps down. And start descending on final. Final checks, pitch, undercarriage, fuel pump, full flap. Final checks complete. Maintain 70 knots. On this pass, we can fly right over the top of the field because we'll be very close to the field and we don't have to offset to the side. On this pass, we will focus on the surface condition of the field to ensure not only the aircraft can land safely, but also to take off again from the same field when the weather improves. When we reach 50 feet, it requires complete concentration because we will be focusing on the attitude and airspeed as the aircraft is only 50 feet off the ground. We'll start to fly straight and level at a windsock height. Focus on the attitude and airspeed. At the same time, assess the condition of the field. I can see the field is nicely trimmed, very smooth with short grass and appears to be dry. Keep focusing on the altitude and airspeed. Apply enough power to stop the descent to maintain level flying. When the field assessment is complete, go around full power. Raise the nose, dash on horizon, positive rate, flaps up. 500 feet, level off, and set precautionary power setting. And we can start to turn on the crosswind, right, center, left. During the last 3 passes, at any point in time, if you found anything that may stop the aircraft from landing safely, we'll depart from this field and look for another one and try to do another 3 passes before we land on that particular field. If the weather does not permit you to conduct 3 passes, please try to do at least 2 passes before landing. After assessing this field, I think it is suitable to land, so my decision is to land here. I will now make a radio call. Pan pan, pan pan, pan pan, Diamond, Mike, November, November. At Turretin Airfield, conducting a precautionary landing. 3 PLB will contact after landing. This radio call is to let Melbourne Centre know we'll be landing at Turretin, and afterwards we'll be making another radio call to inform them we have landed safely. I'll also do a passenger brief. The passenger will be landing at Turretin Airfield. I've done 3 passes and I deem it suitable for landing, so please fasten your seatbelt as we'll be landing there. Evacuate the aircraft after we have stopped and we'll meet 100 meters in front of the aircraft. And we'll initiate the landing now.
Turretin traffic, Diamond, Mike, November, November, turning base for runway 22 for a full stop. Turretin traffic.
Base is exactly the same as before, maintaining altitude. For this exercise, we're not going to land on the grass because this is just a simulation. But instead, we'll be landing on the paved runway. I'll demonstrate a short field landing. Because there's a bit of crosswind, it will be a crosswind short field landing. Practicing short field landing in crosswindy condition is not recommended because it is considered to be a bit more advanced. On final, pitch undercarriage fuel pump flaps down. Final checks complete. On final, maintain 70 knots. Aim point is the piano key. In real life, we can use trees or any landscape to be an aim point. Touchdown point will be the second center line. Because the wind is coming from the left, I will be having to use right rudder and left aileron. Allow the aircraft to slow down. Passing the piano key, start to flare. Ailerons into wind, start to ease on the brakes, apply back pressure, and this is a crosswind short field landing. In real life, after landing, shut down the aircraft, evacuate the aircraft, and contact ATC afterwards to inform them we have landed safely. Hopefully when the weather improves, we can take off again from this field and continue our journey. And this is a precautionary search and landing demonstration.
It is now time for the threat and error management. In this precautionary search and landing lesson, what are some of the threats and errors that we have to look out for? One of the major threats that we have to look out for is the proximity with the ground during the low level circuit. On the third pass and final of the procedure, the aircraft will be flying as low as 50 feet above the field. Because of that, we have to ensure altitude is being maintained visually, but not fixated on the instruments. We have to be sensitive on the position of the horizon to ensure altitude is maintained. The second threat is potentially exceeding the flap limitation speed when lowering the flap and damaging the flap system. This is because the flap will be extended and retracted numerous times during the procedure. Therefore, to avoid inadvertently damaging the flap system, we have to verbalize, speed check, flap down before lowering the flaps. And that is it for today, guys. Thank you for watching. Please don't forget to subscribe to Learn to Fly's YouTube channel for more great content and follow us on Facebook and Instagram. I'll see you guys next time. Cheers.